So just what the Lord has been giving me a lot, even over the past week, is about surrender and saying yes to the Lord. Saying yes to His will, the importance of surrender. And surrender is a word you might can get within church usually, but when we go home, it's something we don't really want to do. You know? Just the connotation of the word surrender can just kind of, I don't know, what do you think when you hear the word surrender?
Give up.
Give up. Very good. Give up. Give up. Anybody else have anything that they think of when they hear surrender?
Submit.
Submit. Now my hairdresser, she's of the Islamic faith, and whenever we talk about certain things, she says, I just don't like that word submit. You know? I just don't like that word. Why do I gotta use that word submit? But it's the Bible. The Bible says submit, and that word really submit. Sub means to put under, and mit means to put, and sub means under. So that word submit means to put yourself under. Now, of course, you don't just put yourself under anybody, right?
Right.
You don't just surrender to anybody, right? So anyone else have any comments about surrender or submit, what that word means to them?
Giving your all.
Giving your all. I like that. Giving your all. Yes. Even giving, you know, because we always want to take, but just give.
Yeah.
Give in.
Yeah.
Give up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let go.
Let go. Bishop did a song. He made a song years ago. Do you remember? I release.
And
I
let
let
go.
go.
I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. I'm only here for God.
Yes, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. Yes. That's awesome, and that was a great song that he was doing. So Bishop told us some time ago that every failure, you might want to take notes because I'm going to be in and out of what he has taught us in the past, so some of it's going to be a review. But also, the Lord has just been giving me some things in 1 Kings chapter 17, so just turn there.
1 Kings chapter 17.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. I'm only here for God. That's what that song was that Bishop wrote himself. I don't remember the melody right now, so I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to tell you who said it, but somebody tickled me the other day that said, because they heard that song, I release and I let go. And the person said, oh, that's a beautiful song. What's I'll go? I'm like, it's not I let go, it's I let go. This person knows we get into deep things of God, so they might have thought it was something they didn't know. Oh, I let go. No, it's I let go. Okay, so every failure in life is because of an instruction not followed. Every failure in life is because of an instruction not followed. Every failure that you could think of that you've ever had in your life, pause for a minute and just think of any failure, anything that didn't go quite the way you had planned or it didn't work out the way you wanted. It's because of an instruction not followed.
Wow.
Anybody get anything out of that?
Oh,
A lot. Would you like to comment?
oh man, it's just, I mean, to be, you think you know more than your parents or your elders. They tell you not to do something. You like, man, I got it, and then you fall flat on your butt, and then you come home, gotta hear the "I told you so." Use that for every example.
Yes. And Dr. Jones did the scripture in the scripture showers. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right, And Bishop taught us some weeks ago that when you follow instructions, you're never wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're following instructions of someone who's your superior, your boss, your parent, your pastor, your husband's wives, you're never wrong. I'm just doing what you told me to do. So it takes the onus off you, right? It takes the responsibility off you. Did you want to make a comment? Did you say that resonated with you?
That's so true.
You're never wrong. Go ahead.
That's so true. Now, if you're failing in your health, and you know you have high blood pressure, and the doctor tells you certain foods don't eat, abstain from certain foods, and you eat them anyway, you fail to follow direction.
That's true.
That not only with high blood pressure, it could be diabetes. It could be because you fail to what?
Follow instructions.
You know, because I know somebody that has have diabetes, and they're not supposed to be eating certain foods, but they eat it anyway. So what you doing eating all that? You're not supposed to eat that. Well, I can eat a little bit. You're not supposed to eat any. Any. So that's why they have diabetes.
Yeah.
Because they're not following instructions. That goes in every area in our life. Like you said, every area in our life. That's for health and insurance.
Yeah, that's a really good one you bring up, because there's someone that I'm thinking about right now. You were present in the wellness ministry at that time, and so were you. And this individual, they passed away last summer, very prominent person. And they were diagnosed with diabetes, and we told them, there's certain changes they have to make in their nutrition and drinking water and things like that. And they flat out told us they're not going to do it. Not going to do it. And they eventually lost one leg, then the next leg.
Oh yeah.
And then, I think at first the leg was cut, to one leg, but then it got cut a little higher, and then the next leg, and now they're just gone. So, we all have the prerogative to choose not to follow an instruction. We all can do that. Don't mean it was going to go that well, but we can all choose, make that choice. So every failure in life is because of an instruction not followed. Now, write this down. An instruction simplifies your life.
That's so true.
An instruction simplifies your life. Anyone get anything out of that comment? What does that mean to you? An instruction simplifies your life. Yes, Brother Jassan.
Just even what Bishop was talking about before about just having somebody that's already been through certain mistakes that you've been through. It just helps to shorten the distance, like Kathy says. Just because you can avoid a lot of mistakes just by listening to the person that made the mistakes before, and they know from experience, okay, don't do this, but do it like this, and then that could just help to just help you out.
Yes.
And it just helps shorten and exactly simplify your life.
It simplifies your life, because there's a saying, why reinvent the wheel? If someone already took the time, effort, energy, and skill, and ingenious to create a wheel, why would I go through attempting to redo it? It's already been done. In other words, you know the way. All I have to do is follow the way you gave me, because you have that skill or that knowledge already. So why would I attempt to do it now my way? And Bishop always says we can learn two ways. How's that? I said you all are teaching today.
Mistake? No.
You're close though, but yes.
Or a
mentor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you're right. Mistakes is the crowbar. A mentor is the key.
Right.
You can go through life with a key, or you can go through life with a crowbar. You can use a crowbar to get into an unopened door, but you're going to do some damage. You're going to damage the door. You're going to, you might have a real hard time, and you're going to do some damage in the process. But a key is so neat and tidy. And guess what? You can lock the door back.
Yes.
You can get it with a crowbar. You're not going to be able to necessarily lock it back. So you're right. The key would be the mentor.
Yeah.
And the crowbar is the mistakes. How many of us have used crowbars in our time? I know I've used a whole lot of crowbars. And after a while, after you do enough damage in your own life, you start to say, you know what? I think I prefer the key. Yes.
Instructions simplify your life. I think all of us been in this situation. Have you ever been in a car with a person and they don't exactly know what road to take? But you know.
Yeah.
So I say, well, it's easier, it makes it simpler if you go this way. Oh no, I'm going to go my way. And that way was an hour out of the way. You understand? But it could have been simpler to go my way, the way I know. But no, I want to go the way I know. I said, well, you're going out of the way. But that's all right. We'll get there when we get there. I don't want that. I want to make it simpler. I want to get there quicker. Anybody ever been? Yes. Oh!
Yes.
That burns me up. I could have been at this location an hour ago.
Right.
But you decided to go your way.
Right.
The way I'm showing you is a simple one.
Right.
Right. It's usually the men who don't like asking.
That's
for
it.
That's it. You know, back in the days when we had to use maps and stuff, and you know, the women would want to say, let's look at the map, or let's ask them for directions. Let's go to stop at the gas station. Ask them, oh no, I know the way. I got it. What is that? It's a man thing. I don't know what it is. Thank God for GPS. Hopefully there's a lot less arguments. Write this down. An instruction guarantees your success. If you're getting it from the right person, right? It guarantees your success. Now you get it from the wrong person, right? It can guarantee your failure. Instruction from the right source guarantees your success. Your future, write this down, is determined by who you trust. Your future is determined by who you trust. Bishop has a saying, I don't know if he coined it, but you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. The people you have allowed to be in your circle of life, the people you spend the most time around with, you fall somewhere in between there. You shouldn't be at the top because you need a new crowd of friends if you are. Because you need to be with some people that you can learn something from. So you shouldn't be the top of your group. Or you're not going to go any higher than you are. You definitely don't want to be the bottom of your group. Because then that'll make you feel like you don't even belong in this group. So you should fall somewhere in between. That someone, the group of people that you're with, they should have something to offer you, but you also should have something to offer them. And you should be learning from one another and growing from one another. So who do you trust? Who's in your inner circle? You should write that down. Who's in my inner circle? When you go home today, examine your inner circle. It might be time for you to get a new circle. If you have a new vision for your life, a new direction that you want to go in, a new goal, a new endeavor, analyze your friends in your inner circle. Will this inner circle get me there? Or I'm hanging out with a bunch of chickens. Bishop did a message a couple weeks ago. I won't say the whole title, but it was talking about birds. Okay? What kind of birds are you hanging with? Are you hanging with a bunch of chickens?
Right.
Scratching?
Yeah.
Pecking at each other? We raised plenty of chickens before. We don't ever have to do that again. I'm good. We've raised many chickens. And there's a reason there's a saying called a pecking order. Do you know you have chickens? Because you're shaking your head like that. There's a reason they have a pecking order. You heard that saying, a pecking order? They will peck each other.
Yes.
Like as an aggression to see who's going to be the ruler of the roost.
Yes.
They will peck each other, and sometimes they peck each other to death.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Are you with a bunch of people who are pecking at you? When you say you have a vision or a goal, they peck you and pick at you and say, no, you're not able to do that. No, that's not possible. We were talking about that with Deacon Chris, right? Be careful who you share your vision with. Because not everybody's going to share your optimism and your level of faith. Some people will say, oh no, you're not able to do that. Nobody from here ever got succeeded on that. You from the hood. You're not gonna be able to do that. You one of us. You know. You ain't gonna go around. It's like crabs in a barrel. One attempts to get to the top, and they just pull each other back down. Be careful who you share your vision with. Who's in your inner circle? Are you with chickens? Are you with vultures? They like the dead stuff. They're complainers. They ain't got nothing good to say about nothing. They just want garbage. They just like to feed on garbage and be around garbage. Anything that stinks and smelling, they're going to gravitate to that. Eat it. Tear it up, right, Eric? Are your friends vultures? Is your inner circle a bunch of buzzards? That was a popular saying when I was growing up in church. I grew up Pentecostal. They weren't going to cuss too much, so they was like, buzzard. They love that word, buzzard. Buzzard. That was them cussing. Or are you soaring with eagles? Are you surrounding yourself with people who have lofty ideas? want more for their lives.
Yeah.
So evaluate your inner circle. So let's just turn quickly to 1 Kings chapter 17. I'm going to give you some more principles. Again, I want to hear what you all have to say today. But we're starting at 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 8. Now, here we find a drought going on because Elijah, at the prompting of the Lord, at the word of the Lord, he pronounced a drought on this land because the kings were so evil. And Ahab, king of Israel, had done more evil in the sight of God than any other king before his time. So Elijah pronounced a drought on the land. There would be no rain, no dew, not a drop of water coming from the sky. So here we find in verse 8, it says, "And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying," this was Elijah that it came unto, "Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee." Somebody say, sustain thee.
Sustain thee.
So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there. What widow woman was there? What widow woman was there? Let me read verse 9 again. "Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee." Verse 10. "So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks." What widow woman was there?
The one the Lord is commanded.
The one that the Lord commanded to sustain the prophet. So, two commands went out. God gave the prophet a command.
Yeah.
He told him, "Go to Zarephath. I've commanded a woman to sustain thee." But he also gave another command, right? Who did he command? The widow woman. So there's two commands that went out. And an instruction has to be followed, right? We just talked about success comes from an instruction that's followed.
Yeah.
So the prophet followed the instruction. He could have just stayed at the brook. You know, the brook, he was at a brook.
Yeah.
Ravens were feeding him. That was in the first few chapters. Bishop talked about it a few weeks ago. Ravens were feeding him. Ravens don't feed people. Ravens are buzzers. They like dirt, decaying stuff. But ravens were giving the prophet bread and healthy food, meat. Relatively healthy. So they were sustaining him. The brook dried up. Now, what if the prophet decided not to listen to God? He would have died. He would have died. So the instruction had to be followed.
Yeah.
He followed the instruction and went to Zarephath. So, we see in verse 11, no, we're still at verse 10. "So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there." Just like God said she would be. "Gathering of sticks." And we're going to get back to that gathering of sticks a little bit later. "And he called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink." Verse 11. "And as she was going to fetch it," so we're going to stop right there. He told her to fetch him some water. He gave her a command.
Yeah.
And what did she do? She went to go fetch it, right? She went to go fetch it. So, first of all, we see that God said for the widow woman to sustain the prophet. Don't you love God? I mean, the fact that just the sovereignty of God, just the sovereignty. He knew the brook would dry up. He knew that the prophet would need someone to sustain him. And he told him to go somewhere, but he already had a plan in motion for him.
Right.
He had someone prepared to do what?
Sustain.
To sustain. What does that word sustain mean?
Provide.
Provide for,
Keep alive.
to keep alive,
Care for.
to care for,
Maintain.
to maintain, to supply, to feed.
Yeah.
God gave the woman a command to sustain the prophet. God commanded her to sustain. And then what did she do? She got up to go do it, right? Whatever God commands you to do, you're able to do it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was a drought going on. Think it might have been a little challenging finding some water in a drought? But yet she got up to do it. She got up to do it. A widow woman. Seemed like the prophet should be bringing her some water. She's a widow. But she got up to do it. She knew she could do it. But then let's read a little further. And as she was going, verse 11, to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. Hello? Trout. Salmon in the land. You asked me for water, that's a big tall order right there, but now you're going to ask me for some bread, some cake, some food, and she's a widow? So what did she say in verse 12? And she said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and do what? Dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. That we may eat it and die. So here the prophet not only asked her for water, which she felt was in her realm of capability to do, but then he asked her for food. He said for her to go fetch. And that fetch was quite a stretch.
Right.
But you know, God will do that. He will give us a command, not only of what we know we're able to do, but I'm waking up to this all the time, and you know what? At first, it's like, what? You're asking me to do this? Are you serious? But the more God will stretch your faith, you will then see that you're able to do things you didn't know you were able to do.
Yes.
Anyone here can remember a time God stretched you? Stretched your faith? I mean, okay, the water I know I can do. It's kind of hard because it's a drought. But I got a little water stored up. I could do that. I've been wise. But bread, all I have is this little handful at the bottom of a jar and a little teeny bit of oil. I don't have no bread. What are you talking about? I'll never forget. It seems like a small thing back. Well, it wasn't a small thing. It was never a small thing to me. But it might seem like it's small to you. Remember when we had the Christian Bible Institute and Seminary like in full effect, where we had to come here for classes and everything like that. And we had chapel service. Anybody remember chapel service?
Yes.
Any former CBI students in chapel? You had to be ready for your chapel message. And I remember that day, I don't know what was going on. I think I was a senior anyway in dental school, or it was my residency or something, so I was busy. And I wrote the message. I don't know what I wrote. I just had it on paper. I wrote it. So I got up there, my little 7-minute sermon, and this is fun to everybody. We used to have a lot of people in the school, and I'm reading my message. Bishop, your bishop, Momekel, comes up to the podium and snatched the paper out of my hand and went and sat back down. This was before we were married. So I'm like, okay, exit stage right. I went and sat down. I didn't even attempt to fake it. I don't know what. It was good when I was writing it, but I don't know what was on that paper. I really don't. So I just sat down, and he, of course, did a long speech about, you should know what your message is about. You should know what the Lord's given you, or have it not just on your paper and in your head, but it should be in your heart.
Yeah. That's true.
So it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, but it taught me something. So the next time I saw my name on the list of people that had to speak at chapel, and it happened to be Thanksgiving service, I learned from that mistake. I made sure I knew what was on my paper, I made sure that I had it in my heart, and praise God, the Lord bless. But that was a valuable valuable lesson for me. And it taught me to stretch myself because I grew up being very shy. I mean, you might not know it now, to know me now a little bit, but I was terribly shy. I would never talk in front of a group of people at all, you know, let alone without paper. Are you kidding me? Like, if I don't have every comma and period written down, I'm not going to say anything. So I honestly thank God for the humiliation and embarrassment and mortification because it stretched me to learn, you know, more about how to speak and to present, you know, myself in sincerity. You know what's written on the paper. So it didn't seem like a small thing then, and maybe it didn't evolve into a small thing because I thank the Lord, you know, that I speak all the time now. But it stretched me. It stretched me. Anyone here just can relate to being stretched? Yes.
Well, you know, you just gave the example. You know, I liken it to a song. You know, if you're going to perform a song, you can't come out with your sheet. You can do that in practice, you know, in the studio, but you really can't come out with your sheet. You got to have those words already in your heart that, you know what you're singing about, right? So, now in terms of stretching, sometimes the Lord sets you back as a way of stretching.
Go ahead, talk about it.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you're moving too fast for your own self. You think you got so much going on that you're so busy, so much stuff is important, but the Lord will find something to set you back so that you now have to reassess what's important.
That's good.
You know what I mean? And that's stretching you in a lot of ways because you weren't going to do it yourself.
Man.
So the Lord had to bring you down to some area that you might recognize that I need to reassess something.
I like that. I think you want to say something, right? You want to say something, but I like that because, you know, the purpose of God stretching you, if you think about a rubber band, you want to be stretched, but you want to be able to bounce back. So your stretching is not to break you. You ever had a rubber band that's old and it doesn't have that elasticity, so it stretches and it pops? God's point is not to destroy us.
Correct.
He wants to stretch us to make us.
Yes.
He wants to bring something better to us. His point of stretching us is to grow us. It might be time for you to get out of that 5x7 into that 8x10.
Yes.
And then once you go out of that 5x7 into 8x10, you don't want to go backwards, you want to go forward.